What's up, everybody? This episode of the Step Up Podcast is brought to you by DMC USA and Pioneer DJ by Alpha Theta. This was a really great episode. I got to sit and talk with the Australian DMC National Champion from 2023 and 2024, DJ Max Best. Um, when I saw him in Paris, I was really excited to see his style. I couldn't explain it. It had this unique, funky finger drumming to it, and great musicality. It was something I personally never seen done on a DMC stage at that level, and I was just curious about it. So we brought him on the podcast to share a little bit about his background, his history, and his influence. And it's a great conversation overall. For all of you out there competing this year in the 2025 DMC battle, make sure you head over to dmcdjchamps.com/register, and make sure you know your deadlines for your national branch or for when we announce the wild card, hopefully next week. You're going to want to get your entries in on time because it's going to be a tight schedule this year. So, but a very exciting year. But that's it for now. Let's head to the podcast.
So step up if you wanna get hurt. So step up if you wanna get hurt. So step up if so step up so step up if you wanna get hurt.
Yes, man, how you been?
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are you do you what do you do? Is DJing everything you do, or you work, or what's
Yeah,
your
it used to be. So I was DJing full time for like maybe 7 or 8 years, but now I run
oh
a booking agency.
oh
Uh, yeah, and book like local DJs, live music and stuff, just into venues and corporates, weddings, all that sort of stuff. So that's
what part of Australia are you in?
Tasmania.
Tasmania. Where is that on the map? Let's
It's
start with Sydney and tell me which way to go.
uh, so the south. It's like southeast of Australia. We're almost, you could say we're like the third island of New Zealand in a weird way. Like
Oh,
we're,
okay.
yeah, north of Antarctica, south of Australia.
Oh, Tasmania is its own island. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, right off the coast. Oh, okay, okay. Now I know where you guys are at. Okay, okay. You
yeah.
do it. So you're a booking. I mean, is it mobile DJs? What kind of DJs are you booking through this?
Like I guess just like depends what venues need, like venues come to us and
Oh,
they want to put on a final night or uh, you know, commercial stuff. And yeah, we have a network of DJs and book them in.
oh, wow. Okay, okay. How'd you get into that?
Just through DJing and then
Wow. Okay, okay.
playing at
Nice,
different venues and then ended up starting a business with another DJ and a friend of mine.
nice, nice.
And yeah,
What kind of? So you said that you were DJing full time. What kind of DJing were you doing?
like DJ to pay the bills.
Oh, okay,
Like,
okay, okay. Maybe in America, that's probably the difference between. So in California, right? We have mobile DJs who do weddings. That's kind of what we
oh,
call them.
right.
Yeah, in the US, mobile DJs are like the guys that do they do every gig. That's kind of the history of mobile like DJing in America, or at least where I'm from in California. We call them mobile DJs. They do everything from clubs to weddings to birthday parties to corporate parties. Then you have your performance DJs that do like, I don't know, 30-minute sets on a festival stage, or, opening sets, or they work for I don't know. We just have different classifications. So what kind of gigs are you doing, I guess? Were you doing
Yeah,
like
well, I guess so. So I'm part of like a duo, and my partner plays the saxophone, and I scratch, or we both scratch actually. But and we've done like the whole festival circuits down here and all that sort of stuff. But then yeah, like just at bars and clubs and stuff, lounge bars, that sort of stuff's how yeah how
cool,
I'd make my money and yeah play.
cool, cool. When did you start DJing?
Uh Man, I don't know. I get like
Oh,
I get the first thing I ever did in DJing, not even aware it was DJing, is I got all my favorite tracks, put them in GarageBand, and just like stitched them all together.
yeah, okay,
Uh,
mixtape. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and then yeah, I moved down to Tasmania, and a friend was into it, and then we yeah just started playing house parties, and went from there, then clubs, and yeah.
Oh, how are
So
you
we've been
playing?
DJing
Like,
together
go
for
ahead. Oh,
about
go
15
ahead.
years. Yeah,
15 years? Okay, okay, good, good.
yeah, yeah.
What how old are you, by the way? I mean, you don't have to tell me, but I mean,
No,
you
that's,
can, I'm trying to get a sense for
I
what
turned
generation you're a part of so I can kind of start there.
for sure. Well, I'm 35 this year.
Okay, okay, you're not too far off. Okay, fair. I'm
Yeah.
in my 40s, so what kind of equipment were you starting off with when you started doing the gigs?
With the turntables, we have this amazing club down here in Tasmania. They still use like turntables. It's like uh the the real place, and we all had to use turntables, and it was very much like a turntablist club. And even now, still in 2025, which is pretty
Wow.
sweet.
Okay.
Uh, so that's how we began. But I was very much in the like bass dance music scene.
Oh,
You
okay,
know, I
okay.
like similar to the festival Shambhala in Canada,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
all
yeah.
that. Yeah, that's like the stuff we play and we like. And then I didn't get into scratching until yeah, like quite a bit later.
How'd you get into
Uh,
scratching? Like, what influenced that?
I think it was like seeing like probably like Hubert on YouTube. But like people were scratching in the club and stuff, but I didn't really get into the technical side of it or understand like the whole battle culture until like much later when I started battling in like 2016. Like I saw it and observed it, thought it was cool, but like it wasn't it was all about the kind of dance music first. And then when I started battling, I went back and yeah, checked out all the battle stuff.
Nice, nice. And so Cuber was your, I guess, your gateway to this turntablist scene. I guess, what influenced you to start practicing the techniques and moving into that direction of being a battle DJ?
Uh I guess like yeah, like Qbert used to have some question and answer scratch stuff up, so I'd go and
Yeah.
like do them, but I had no idea what I was doing
Oh, you're
because
self-taught too. You taught yourself how to.
yeah,
Oh, wow. Okay, shit. There you go.
that that's a bit of an interesting one because like in Tasmania here, there's only a couple turntablists, and when I started, yeah, I just had no idea what I was doing. Like just moving the records around, having fun. And when I won my first DMC, I went up to the mainland in Australia and realized there was like a language for it all, and then I had to go back and like learn all the scratches like methodically and like what the hell was actually going on.
Yeah. What DMC did you enter? Was it in Tasmania? Was it a local? Like, was it something that your branch manager is Casey?
Yeah,
Was it a live regional or how did you get into it?
yeah. So we have like state by state here, and yeah, so all the states have like a little regional, and then we have like the Australian finals, which has been in Melbourne for the past, or as long as I've been doing it, like over 10 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did the regional, and it was like the first time I had been in Tasmania for quite a long time.
Oh, wow.
Um, and basically, there's this really great, amazing turntablist, Dainza from Tasmania, who was like, was the one that was going to win, and the club manager was like, "You guys have got to enter just to create like a battle so he can get a ticket to go to DMC." But he was I think he had his hand or something and couldn't rock up, and then I ended up winning, and I was like, "Oh God!" Like
Oh, wow. What year
I
was
had to
this?
go to the national finals and represent, and yeah, it was like a really intense like month of like, "Oh God, I've got to like not embarrass myself here."
What year was that you won your first DMC?
I think it was 2016.
2016. Okay, so I man, I didn't really I the first time I discovered you or at least saw you was 2023 in San Francisco.
Mm.
I was kind of involved with the DMC. I was running my own battles. But I was doing a lot of the online stuff for DMC through the pandemic, and so all those, those online DMCs, those are the one I edited a lot of that stuff, and I kind of
Oh
put
right,
that
okay,
together.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I used to do a lot of that stuff. I've been working with the battle DJs since man 2002 for a long time. I worked with IDA, I worked with DMC, um, but in Tasmania, what you mentioned that I'm curious about your local community. Like, how big is it? Is it to get from Tasmania to San Francisco probably was a pretty crazy. By the way, we're just starting. I'm not even trying to. I'm not even trying to, go by the book. I'm really just kind of curious about your journey to San Francisco and in all of this. But your local scene in Tasmania is there a lot of influential DJs, or did you kind of have to reach out to the other states in Australia in order to get that?
Yeah, we've got like it, Tasmania's a tricky one. Like we've got a lot of culture per capita, like there's not many people here, but there's a lot considering how few people are here. So we've got a lot of sweet scratches and turntables, and we catch up and have little jams and stuff. But it's not like a like a proper battle community that I guess the rest of the world would have. So I don't know, like when I've been learning, I've just been in a bit of a bubble because I kind of just practice my own styles and don't really get much influence from other people.
Nice. I mean, so you it's kind of crazy because you kind of are in this bubble, right? Like I guess when I was sessioning, there was a lot of local battles in San Francisco, or when I was battling, there was a lot of local battles. And
Mm.
is DMC the only kind of platform out there in Tasmania and Australia? Other
Yeah,
than
pretty
Red Bull,
much.
let's leave Red Bull out. That doesn't count.
Yeah,
So
true.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But in terms of turntablism, is it DMC that's kind of the main thing?
Yeah. It's like the only one really. A friend just ran a local battle like a month or two ago. There's a few like little things, but it's DMC pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So yeah, I'm kind of just jumping around because I have a lot of just questions about where you came from and what brought you here. I know you were training under Vec too. That's what or at least you were taking some some pointers from Vec. Vec was a judge for us last year for the online stuff. How did what made you reach out to Vec? I mean, he's all the way in Canada, you're all the way in Australia. How did that work out?
Uh, yeah, because I've got this terrible habit of like writing my routines and just becoming so detached because I'm kind of in this bubble. So I reach out to a few people like Vect or Broke from Australia and get them to like kind of bring me back down to earth with some
How,
of the stuff that I'm thinking.
oh, nice. And
Yeah.
how'd you meet Vec? Was that through the internet, through battles, or?
Um, how did I meet Vect? I guess I hit him up before San Francisco. Well, I checked out his stream and stuff because he's just like such an amazing guy. Like he's so analytical and takes the time and I hit him up and was like, "Hey, I just need some like feedback of what you think is like good and bad in this."
Nice.
And then yeah, we just met up online, and then I met him in San Francisco properly, and yeah, ended up having just a really sick time with him. He's such a legend. He's really about the community and all that. And yeah, and then caught up with him a few times since, and he's really broken down some stuff for me that like I just not even aware of, like all the language of scratch notation and all that sort of stuff. It's been really interesting to learn it through his methodical eyes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah,
Yeah, I
but at
love
the same
that.
time, not wanting to like compromise my artistic integrity. Like it's an interesting thing because obviously he's got his views of what's things should be, and it's so from my perspective, it's so objectively correct that it can be difficult to not converge to his style. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's the strange balance of respecting him, but also having to respect my weird, wacky ideas.
No, I mean, some of the stuff that I seen you did in Paris, that kind of blew me away. Like I don't know what you were doing, but you were doing something that I've never seen I've never seen done. And I was standing next to Craze, and I
Yeah,
remember just kind of my mind was a little blown about it because I've never seen the type of technicality that you were doing. It sounded great to me. It looked great. Like how did how, man, I'm so curious about that routine because it really did blow me away. But I'm curious about your history. I wanted to know a little bit more. You said you came out in 2017 to DMC. Where did you go between 2017 and 2020? Were you battling still, trying to get in? What were you doing between those times?
yeah. I only took 1 year off, but so I guess the thing to note is that I probably come from more of a finger drumming background. I was finger
Oh,
drumming like way more than scratching. Like on the like Native Instruments
oh my
machine. That was
God,
like
that makes so much sense now. Like the kind of shit that you were doing. I'm like, how in the world did a turntablist figure out how to do that? Okay, keep going, keep going. That's amazing.
yeah. So like big inspirations being like Jeremy Ellis, all that sort of stuff. I was like so inspired by that. And then in 2019, Alex from Sample Music Festival hit me up on Instagram and was like, "Hey, do you want to come compete in the finger drumming world finals?" And I happened to be in Edinburgh for the Fringe Festival, so I flew over to Berlin with like literally just my laptop and like wasn't prepared really at all. I had like maybe one or two routines prepared for that.
Yeah.
And I was the first competitor in the finger drumming world finals to use turntables
Huh.
because there's this, because you can finger drum on machine or
Yeah.
an MPC or whatever, or push.
Add-ons are allowed though. I remember. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And it's super dope. But what's so sweet about combining the turntable is it gives you pitch expression. So
Right.
you can press one drum like a snare or something, but then pitch it up or pitch it down,
Mm.
and having that expression was pretty wild in the finger drumming finals because I don't think anyone had really done that before. And I got up there and like did my little bit. Had to like borrow some records and stuff off some other people and some turntables from someone who was doing like a lecture for one of the other things. And I was expecting to just do one round and get eliminated because everyone there was just so dope. But because it was such a novelty, I kept making it. I kept eliminating people, and then I got to a point where I didn't have any any material left because it's like a
Oh
head-to-head
shit.
battle. And I
What
was like
year
at the
was
back of
this?
the stage, like setting cue points, like before I got to the next round. It was funny. Yeah.
That's funny. What year was this that you were at Sample Music Festival?
2019, just before the pandemic.
Damn, was I there? I
Um,
can't remember if I was there.
oh damn, that would have been wild. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I used to do some work with Alex. I used to do some the scratch battles there, the Clash of the Titans battle.
Yeah.
I
It
did the
was the year
cut.
that Ben won. I remember watching that.
Okay, okay, yeah. I
Ben the
probably
DJ.
didn't come then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Ben the DJ. Okay, okay. Yeah, dope. Damn, dude. So
Mm.
you were battling in finger drumming. Well, what brought you into battling, period? You know what I mean? Like battling is a very kind of niche thing. What brought you there?
Well, yeah, it was the owner of the club that I work at with the turntables. He was just like,
Yeah.
you've got to enter DMC.
Wow.
You're
Okay.
playing here, like do something for the culture. And I'm like, well, all right, yeah.
Okay.
And then
It's
yeah,
that simple. It
did it.
was just like I'm gonna jump in this and and see if I could take this all the way.
No, yeah, I
Oh,
guess that's the thing is I've been surprised by winning the whole time. I never really expected to even the first one. So,
yeah.
and I think that's been a really good philosophy to have is
Yeah.
that if you don't focus on the winning and you just look at the bigger picture and your skills, it really helps your mental health, I guess, and morale
For real. Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
every time you win, it's a nice surprise.
It is. It is. I don't know. I guess it's so different here in America. Like battling in terms of DJing, it was considered like the hip hop DJ way to go. Like it's been part of the USA hip hop scene. Battling is part of being a part of this culture, and so it's kind of cool that the bar owner was like, "You got to do this for the culture. You got to try it out and represent for Tasmania," because he probably saw something in you. He's probably saw some real talent, and so it's you said 2019 you were Sample Music Festival doing the what do you call it, the finger
Finger
drumming
drumming
battle.
world,
Yeah,
yeah.
let's skip a little forward, but in 2020, or I guess where did you start to say, okay, I'm going to take the DMCs a little bit more seriously and start to train for a 6 minute set?
Uh, I 2023 was the big one.
Yeah.
That was where I just started, yeah, going like 5 to 8 hours a day for. I think that one was like 4 or 5 months before the battle, and just uh, really honing in on it because it's funny how little comments can really inspire you. I put up a little entry for Goldie Awards. I think it
Uh,
was like a 1 or 2 minute entry, and someone just left a comment on it, and they said, "If this was like tight enough, it would be unbeatable." And then I was like, "Oh shit!" Like, yeah, I think that's true. And then I've always had that in the back of my mind, and I'm just like, if I can just get this tight enough, like I could just win the whole thing. Because I love writing routines.
yeah.
That's like the thing that I really enjoy is coming up with the ideas. I'm just not. It's really funny. I was talking to Vect about this. Like, I'm just not the best scratcher or the best beat juggler, and DMC's a scratching and beat juggling competition. But like, as far as composition, writing, all that stuff, which is probably one of the hardest things to teach and learn, I feel quite comfortable and good at. So I feel like if I just keep going, keep writing, keep enjoying the process, the scratching and beat juggling will get there eventually. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. And like I heard that quote before where Max admittedly feels like he's not good at scratching. Or like he's getting to that point where he's going to be right on par with his scratching. Like if he got his scratching just a little bit cleaner, he'd probably be right there in the top three. I just felt like what you were doing was next level. Like, there's been
Oh, thank you.
times in generations. Yeah, no, yeah, yeah, you deserve it because I don't think people really caught it because they're looking for the juggling and scratching. I mean, I'm looking for it too. I'm looking for disses. But I'm looking overall in terms of the composition. I mean, I'm no qualified judge. I just been in this for so long. But
Hmm.
I'm looking for surprises because that's pure turntablism in my mind was kind of about. Just like, yo, he flipped that acapella or he flipped that beat. The way that you were finger that was part of your routine. I remember it so vividly. It was so like so beautiful. It's kind of like a dance. You know what I mean? I'm like, damn, I've never seen something like that. So I
Oh,
think
thanks.
people, I think people will catch on. Like if they go back and see that clip, I encourage a lot of people to go back and see that clip of you doing what you were doing because that 2024 routine, I think, was people weren't ready for. And I definitely think that, once people kind of get to see the way that you work in terms of your style of DJing, it might make more sense in the coming years for DMC. So I thought it was great. I wouldn't
Thanks.
say that
Yeah.
the scratching and juggling, like, yeah, it's great to have that kind of foundation. I absolutely think it, but advanced scratching and advanced juggling, I feel like what you're doing is already advanced. I don't think anybody can touch that shit. So I feel like people might kind of go back and look at that stuff and be like, oh, I might want to try and figure out what he's doing here because it could be a nice little weapon for the future. So no, I thought it was dope. What was that technique? What were you doing there?
Uh, yeah, I don't. So like, I guess it's like finger drumming, but with the pitch expression on the record.
Yeah,
And I figured out something quite nuts. 2 years ago. I can try to explain it, but maybe it might get a little
sure.
bit too technical. But if you, you know how like if you match the RPM of the turntable to the tempo
Yes.
of the track, it'll go back round and line up again. So it's like perfect. So
Yeah.
if you have a 100 BPM track and the RPM's 33.3, there'll be 3 beats to every rotation.
Yeah.
So the it lines up. Um, and the biggest thing with like going between beat juggling and finger drumming is you have to like reset back to your
You're at 12
marker
o'clock.
point.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. But if you juggle and then finger drum in time,
Yeah.
the record should rotate to the exact same position again.
Of course.
So if you do your juggle, go into a finger drum, and then go back into a juggle, as long as that's right on the beat and you can like watch the record rotate to 12 and you hit the cue point, you can then just go back into the juggle again.
Beautiful.
And once I figured that out, I was like, oh God, like I could just merge finger drumming and beat juggling into this kind of like one format where it's
Mm.
not separated. So it's like, here's the juggle, here's some finger drumming. So you can go back between the two and like there's
Mhm.
no gaps in the flow. Uh, and then, yeah, expanded upon that a lot last year.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm quite excited for the future of it because it could just be this seamless expression without having to like pause and change into a different section.
Yeah, I think when people see I mean, you're going to get accused probably of you're always going to have these purists online calling you
Oh, yeah.
a button pusher, you know what I'm saying? And it's noise, but I get it. But what you're doing is far beyond just button pushing. Like there is some real thought put behind the composition of that routine and how you execute it and how technical it is. Do you what's your impression about this whole button pushing thing? Like, do you feel like what's your philosophy on, because you are button pushing in that set a lot, and it's like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't, it's more than that, like, what's your thing?
I guess so. Like, I understand why people are protective of it because, I mean, like DMC and turntablism is like born through innovation. And it's tricky because things are changing and, we want to protect what's core to turntablism. And I feel like the button pushing represents like a threat to turntablism. But I just feel like it's just so dope to like not involve, like imagine if you could look back in the 90s and say that you could have like basically an NPC between the turntables and
Hmm.
like freely go between finger drumming and the records. Like it's just so sweet. And I
Yeah.
think that, like the S9 and they came out in, I think it was like 2015 or 16. So it'll take us time to like adapt and accept why it's good, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't think those pads are really going anywhere. I think it's going to be a really core part of turntablism and the next era of turntablism. Um, and I hope that doesn't come as a threat to what it means to be a turntablist. I just hope it adds a new element while still respecting the old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And DMC it's been through its changes in terms of styles and technicalities. And, back when I was battling, we had break records, and, Serato came out during that time. So a lot of things could be thought as cheap, like cheap tricks. But when you
Mm.
get really into it, like when Serato first came out, it was a cheap, not cheap. It was, well, for purists, it was a cheap trick to use digital vinyl in a battle. But once you started to kind of go into the generation, you started to see it was evolving. It was getting more
Mm.
technical. It was getting better. And I think it's the same thing with with the button pushing. It's evolving in a way that it's, producer DJ is a thing now. Like it's not, you are going to have to, I mean, we were producing our own sets back then, but it was just
Mm.
taking records and, putting tape on it. It's still production work. You still have to kind of do the
Yeah.
remixing live and all that. Are you also doing the production work on the back end of your sets, or are you just
Oh
taking
yeah.
samples? Oh yeah, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. No. And that's like where a lot of the magic is. And I don't know how much else I should say. I feel like there's so
Yeah,
much like
yeah, no,
hate
yeah,
towards production, but like it's so sick, right? Like, because like I just have Ableton open all the time in the background, and even just like when I'm, just juggling a track or whatever, I'm like, oh, this is cool, and you can just through your sound card on the mixer, you can just record straight into Ableton.
right.
So a lot of the time, I'm I have my whole kind of workflow in Ableton there, and then you can just record stuff in as it's happening, and then just move stuff around and being like, oh, I want this here, I want this there.
Wow.
Uh, and it's just since I've like um, collapsed the creative loop to because I used to like get up to the decks, do something, and then go sit down at my Ableton computer
Hmm.
and then like produce something and then bring it back to the decks. But now that they're both on the one computer, and I can kind of record straight into Ableton as I'm doing something, and then take that. You can actually drag from Ableton back into Serato,
Yeah,
and there's just no downtime. It's like just as fast as you can think. So you're like playing with a track, and you're like, oh, that I need to move that hi hat or snare somewhere, and you can
yeah,
just cross and move it really quickly. And I feel like there's just such a large skill ceiling to that, and I'm only scratching the surface with it now
yeah,
because it's I don't know I feel like we're living in this amazing era right now, and everyone's kind of sleeping on it
yeah,
because with I don't know if you use stems with Serato.
yeah,
Have you
yeah,
used
yeah,
that
yeah,
yet?
yeah, yeah.
Oh man, it's just like there's no excuse anymore. You can just
Oh
grab
my
any
God.
sample from
Yeah,
anything
yeah,
in like real time, and then with pitch and what's it called, pitch and time,
yeah. Picture time.
you can
Yeah,
just
yeah,
change the key of anything. Like there's
yeah,
just no limit to your ideas now. You can just take completely random tracks, pitch them all to like line them up, isolate specific bits, drag that into Ableton,
yeah.
back into Serato, and you have like a whole new emergent piece of music. Like this is what people would have been dreaming about,
Right.
imagine like Dilla using this shit. Like I just feel like it'd be so sick to
Yeah,
like there's
yeah,
you don't have to like manually sample everything in such a slow format. You can just
right.
go at this like crazy speed now, and I don't know. I find that so exciting, and I feel like the technology's changed, and like a lot of us haven't adapted to it yet. If that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Man, you kind of hit it on, like with Serato, right? They have all these unique tools now, like pitch and time and
Mm.
stems, and to some degree, I think some of us, I think I guess from a turntable standpoint, they just can't keep up with all the changes. Whereas you, on your hand, you're so excited about it, like you see the benefits of this in terms of music production and performance. How do you, I guess, how do you balance that when you're going into something like the DMC, right? Like you have this a super evolved form of your set that I think would be probably really acceptable for a festival stage. And how do what you're dealing with within the DMCs is I think you're dealing with what do you call it, um authenticity to the turntablist art form, but also evolution of it. And how, I'm curious, with someone who is so like, man, you're kind of my son says OP, but you're kind of
Yeah, yeah.
OP with all those techniques that it's like, yo, how do we get this dude to, how do we get people to understand what how amazing this is? What is your thought process when you're kind of, I don't know if you're battling this year, but what is your thought process with creating that set in 2024 because that was the next step. I think that was a really great set. I mean, I loved it, but um, how do you balance that?
Ah man, this is like my biggest struggle
Yeah,
as a turntablist and just an artist in general is finding that balance. And I feel like it's really hard. I don't know, man.
yeah, yeah,
Like, what's your opinion? Like, I
yeah,
it because it's like I find that I'm practicing the fundamentals. I'm doing the old school cuts and juggles and stuff. But I feel like I'm just treading a path that people have done before, and I'm not as good at that as the people that were the best at it. So it's like,
yeah,
do I spend 6 months, 5, 8 hours a day, kind of like biting what's been done before, or do I push down an avenue that hasn't, but that people might not actually be into? And it's this weird risk playoff, and I don't know what's correct. And
yeah.
yeah, what do you think I should do?
I can't say it because it is that I'm always cute because when I was battling, it was always about that. It was like, how do I not be craze, but be craze? Like, how do I
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
create a set like that where it's just so like, and it came down really for me, it was just the musical styles that some of these DJs were using. It really came down always to the music for me when it came to putting my set together. Does it sound musically good?
mm,
Because this is a performance thing. People are looking up at you, but I always try to develop my sets around the how it flows when I
mm.
was battling. And where did your sound come from, or what influenced that sound? What kind of music is that?
I guess like 'cause I'm quite into like electronic, like bass music, like complex stuff, like like Tipper, Mr. Bill, like almost like that borderline IDM uh, type of music. Like I love that stuff.
Yeah,
And anything that has like really well isolated samples. So a lot of bass music. Like I like last year I used Skrillex. God, I've even forgotten the name of the track right now.
yeah,
Supersonic, and that's just got these like really thick isolated sounds that you can play with a lot,
yeah, yeah,
and stuff like that I find really really good because it's just so easy to create something new from that because all the pieces are like in isolation and then you can combine them together to make something else. So I don't know, I look for music where you can kind of isolate the sounds a bit
huh,
and then to have like little building blocks to then create something new. And then I definitely need a track with at least 4 notes so you can
yeah.
uh, have a musical composition. Because
Damn.
I feel
Okay.
like a lot of tracks, yeah, you can't. There's not enough musicality in them to like
Oh yeah,
get
yeah, yeah,
expression.
yeah.
Yeah,
In
so
terms of like what, like current hip hop tracks, or what
I
kind of
guess
tracks?
like a big problem with me is that like it's not old school enough. Like I feel like I
Oh,
annoy with the old heads by using uh well not hip hop
yeah,
but yeah, I like last year I was going through like a just the golden era hip hop stuff to just try find something
yeah,
to use, but it's a lot of it's only a couple notes.
yeah, yeah. Okay,
um,
fair, fair.
yeah,
Yeah,
there's a few really great tracks and a few really cool pieces, but then it's like it feels really I can do one thing, but then I can't
yeah.
do like 4 or 5 things deep.
Right.
So yeah, I'm still trying to find that dreamy track.
Are you
Yeah.
do you compose music on it sounds like you have a bit of a background in composing music. Do you write music too, like notes, or what's your
Yeah,
background in that?
yeah. So I'm really big in synthesis. So like
Okay.
making sounds with synths. So like I use Serum and uh, yeah, just really nerd out on that. Like uh, like not even production sometimes. Just like making like little bird sounds or
Yeah.
going in and tweaking all the sine waves and stuff, and then of course making music from that. Bass music and like quite complex stuff. But not really enjoyable club dance music.
Yeah.
But that really helps. Like say for example, like in my 2023 routine, I used a Muse track,
Okay.
Nights
Okay.
of
Yeah.
Sindonia. And there's like this guitar riff, but then I took that guitar riff and then just made a whole synth, and
Wow.
made this whole like wavetable, so it had like all these um, like a full frequency sweep of stuff that you could cut that would sound really good.
Yeah.
And then again, in terms of collapsing the creative loop, I'd have that in Ableton and then can just drag that across into Serato, feel it a bit, go back into Ableton, tweak the synth a little bit, and then just go back and forth, like 100, 1,000 times until you get the timbre of the sound like just
Wow.
right.
Yeah.
So it really works on the turntable. But yeah, a lot of production, but yeah, more from like a synthesis standpoint. I love synths and I like producing sounds, but not so much making generic music.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What did you was your family like what got you into that? What was your family like? Well, what got you into music in general? Like I'm kind of curious where that came from.
Um, I guess just from a social standpoint, yeah,
Mhm.
liked playing at parties and stuff, and then obviously with DJing, you want to be a producer, so then just sat down and learned everything to do with that.
Okay.
Um, and then yeah, it's really cool because I don't know, music production is just you can just get nerd out on it so much. You can go
Yeah.
so deep, and yeah, I just really love the kind of crazy landscapes you can explore there because
Yeah.
yeah, it's a great way to nerd out. Yeah.
Does your does anybody in your family do music or are you
Nah, man,
really?
I could play. I had no musical training and didn't know anything about music, which I think kind of helped in a weird way because
Yeah.
I just had no idea what I was doing. And I feel like it's kind of helped with turntablism as well because I'm in this bubble and I can there's no idea of what I'm meant to be doing, and then I can just make stuff and then catch up with someone like Vect and shape it to what it should be.
Yeah, just
So,
in terms of like your you're battling and everything. Like what did you ever get feedback after 2023 or 2024 from people about your sets that you think really stuck with you? Was there anything?
yeah, I just can't believe how unified it was in 2023 because I thought I'd get up there and everyone would half the people would be like, oh, what's this button pushing shit, and then the other half would be like, oh, this is some cool new stuff. But yeah, 2023 specifically, I just like everyone was just like, whoa, this is really cool, and that was just so amazing. And then I think I went a little bit too far with it in 2024 because it just wasn't as unified, and people were like, oh,
Oh,
what's this guy doing? Like,
you
too much
told the
button pushing.
line. Yeah, yeah. That's all
Yeah, yeah.
right. That's all right.
So I got to bring it back a bit this year. Yeah.
Okay, so you are battling this year. I assume so.
Oh yeah, if I battle, yeah.
Oh
Nah,
yeah.
yeah, I'll be there. Yeah.
Okay,
I
have you
yeah.
told people you're defending yet or
Not yet. Nah.
not
This
yet? So
is
this is the first time that's
yeah. You
been
heard it here
kind
first.
of
Yeah.
talked about. Okay, okay. How like I'm curious, what brings you back to DMC year in and year out? Like what about it makes you want to spend your time?
Well,
Because this is a passion to kind of do this
yeah.
style of music. You know what I'm saying? So I'm wondering what brings you back to DMC year in year out.
I guess to just be like hideously honest, it's just the perfect way to manifest my artistic ego. Like, it's just I want to I want to make some stuff and I want to share it, and it's the perfect medium to do that. And it's competitive, which I
Yeah.
which I love. So I yeah, I can't see myself really going away from this anytime soon. I'll probably
There you
have to have
go.
a break at some point just for my partner and stuff, but
Yeah.
because it takes quite a toll from the people around me because it ends up being a lot of work. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it
I
is.
just love it. Yeah, I don't see myself stopping anytime soon.
Nice, man. Like, yeah, I think you're a unique talent in a lot of different ways. I think it's great that you got that feedback from the judges about, and you gave me a lot of good feedback about the DMCs too. Like, it was I guess you can say my first year, kind of helping on the coordinating side, and I'm just kind of getting adjusted to this team, and um, I'm curious, is the feedback you gave was great feedback. I think it really helped
Oh, cool.
kind of move things along for us. How important is it to you to get feedback, I guess, about your routines? You say you live in this bubble, and I'm curious, do you sit in your brain and say, that was good, that was bad, I'm the best judgment of that, or do you go out? Would it help if judges came out and like, hey, here's some feedback from your set, and I'm curious
Well,
because
yeah.
we're trying to figure that out too. Like how do we get because like a lot of what shapes a champion these days is the judges, right? The judges on the stage. So you're looking at them down the line, and you're like, okay, well he seems kind of young. He seems kind of OG. He seems kind of like how I don't know if they're gonna like this set. And there's a lot more that goes into building your set than just thinking about what you're gonna do out there. Because then you have to kind of think about, well, who could be on the panel this year? Uh,
Mm.
you know what I mean? Like, because if there's certain people on the panel, like maybe a shortcut, you'll be like, oh shit, he might want some funk.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then you'll have a fly where like, oh fuck, you might want some technicality. Um, how,
But
I'm curious of what your feedback is about that, about having to deal with that. Well, if you got feedback from the judges, would it help to kind of figure this out, or what's your feedback or reaction to that?
yeah. Well, for me personally, yeah, that 100%. But I can see that there's people that would really not want feedback. I feel
Yeah,
like there's a lot
yeah,
of people who battle and what they think they're putting out is just the best thing ever, and they don't really want critique on it.
like
But
me.
yeah, but
I'm just kidding. But go ahead. Go ahead.
no, but yeah, the feedback's great because I can sit here and say that I'm in a bubble and I am relative to the turntablism community, but like it's my partner, it's my mom, it's my friends that are like
Yeah.
telling me what I should be doing. Like I'll come up with something and she comes home from work and I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
is this sick? And yeah, she's like, oh yeah,
Oh,
this is cool. But it's all about the feedback, right? Like
right.
if because I can create these ridiculous routines, but if no one understands them, like what's the point of it? I've got this metric, and that's like if my mum can't nod my head to what I'm doing, it's
Ah,
probably a little bit too uh, non-accessible. But
yeah.
just back to the judges, though, I think it's wait. So are shortcut and fly judging? Did you just let that
No,
sit?
no, 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 no. That I was speaking theoretically. I mean, they might be. I don't know, but you know what I'm saying? That
Okay,
theoretically
because
speaking. Yeah.
in 2023 for the Australian finals, we had Craze here judging. And when I found that out, I changed my routine to target him specifically, and I flipped one of his tracks.
Oh,
And then
nice.
when when that part of the routine came up, like I like pointed him out and was like, "Yo, check this," and it went down a big treat. It was a bit risky, but like I feel
Yeah.
like they're the ones judging. Like you should, if you can, like pivot to what they like because they're
Yeah.
the judges, right? Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the tricky part too, because sometimes, I mean, for a mixing battle, right? Like you're just trying to play to what you think overall what the general public likes, and it should,
Mm,
if the general public likes it, it should reach the judges. That's why, like the open is kind of lends itself to being a bit more palatable for people, whereas the
yeah.
classic is it's deep in terms of the technicality of things and the musicality, and you have to have a sense of turntablism to really understand the music. And I have to say, I go to my wife too for a lot of that feedback stuff. Like, this is this cool? She's like, it's too much of that stuff. It's too much of there's too much of that scratching. I don't
Yeah.
like it. Um, so I think it's one of the huge, I guess, goals of mine to try and give more opportunities for the feedback for the generation of the DJs that are coming through. Because guys like you
Mm,
who have it's just a what do you call it? It's just you can't really explain the passion for wanting to stay in this and keep battling. It's the same thing for me, like for coordinating events and stuff. I don't know what keeps me here, but I still love it to death, like it's still
yeah.
fun for me. Um, I mean, it's exciting to hear that you're going to come back, that you will be battling this year. I loved seeing your wife. I loved kind of hanging out with you guys in Paris. What was Paris like for you? Like it was the contrast between San Francisco. I remember seeing you in San Francisco and you were practicing hard and you were really nervous, and I was just like, "Hey, you're gonna do fine, dude," from what I'm seeing. And then in Paris, you were a lot more relaxed. Like it seemed like you came in, you did your practice time.
No,
You weren't. Oh well, there's some shit that did
no,
happen though.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, do you remember that?
yeah. I remember when I posted. Oh my God, dude, did you? How did that turn out? Like what happened after? I mean, for people that are listening, they don't know, but it was posted on the internet that all of you and Deepak's your Airbnb was robbed.
Yeah.
What happened? Where were you guys when you found out? What happened there?
Uh, yeah. Well, we had actually such a rough time in Paris, like just on a personal level,
Oh,
because we because we went to the battle and then we went like it was the next day or something. We got up and went to see the Eiffel Tower, like first thing we did,
Oh my
and then we
God.
got back to our Airbnb and we'd been robbed. And it was like the most secure Airbnb I've ever stayed in. It was like three different code lock doors,
Oh shit.
and we think like it was an inside job, man. It was sketchy,
Oh,
but yeah, they came in and basically just took all the backpacks. There was
really?
like, yeah, there was the Technics Mark Sevens, uh, S11, all this stuff all set up. They didn't even take any of that. They just
Oh,
took
it was a
backpacks
quick
and
job there. That was a pretty quick job. What they do? Look for laptops? They figured all the stuff was probably
yeah,
in
they
the
got.
backpacks, right?
I feel so bad for Deepak because they got all of his shit,
I heard. I heard.
and like none of mine. Despite mine was all set up, and they got
Yeah.
like my friend who was staying on the couch, like his passport and stuff,
Oh,
and then we were just yeah in a terrible mood, and we weren't sure if they were going to come back because they knew the code lock to get in.
yeah.
So yeah, we had a really well, we barely slept, and then went and booked another Airbnb. And Spell took us out for lunch because I think he felt bad for us and
Oh yeah, dude. What
hung out.
what what did the so what did the what did the well what came of that? Did you guys how'd you
Oh, it was like there was some cops walking past, like
yeah.
we pulled them in, but we were tourists, and they
Oh
just
God.
they were like, yeah, go to the police station and make a report, and
Yeah,
we
you
did
can't
that.
do nothing.
No, no one was taking it seriously, and we're just like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're tourists in Paris. Yeah,
So were you guys able to was Deepak able to recover his stuff or I
no,
mean
I
through
don't.
insurance? Like how did he I mean or did he get any support from it?
He was the only person without insurance. It's rough.
Yeah, insurance
Uh,
is tricky.
yeah, no, I don't. We were talking about starting a Kickstarter, but
Yeah,
to be honest,
yeah.
we had like another few weeks. Like we went over to Berlin and we just wanted to have fun. So I
Oh,
yeah
okay, there you go. Just blow it off.
yeah, I should probably give him a call actually. Yeah
Yeah. Oh man, dude, that was rough. Yeah, it seemed like such a good because I just saw you guys previously at the venue, and it seemed like everyone was in kind of in high spirits. But
yeah.
that's a rough. That's always rough when it comes to kind of going to cities like that or being in situations like that. Did did the Airbnb do anything? I run an Airbnb too, so I'm curious. Did
Oh,
Airbnb?
dude.
Yeah, yeah.
No, they were hopeless. They wouldn't even like call us back, and
Oh
it was like
God.
there was like some company that owned it, and it was just like it was yeah, got to be like one of the worst
Oh,
accommodation experiences. It was
yeah.
also just the funniest accommodation. It was like this basement in an old shop front, and it was like because what was the place we were staying at? Is it Montmartre?
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that what it's called?
Mama. Yeah,
Yeah,
Mama Quay or something like that. Yeah.
but it was like this pseudo romantic basement, and there was like a jacuzzi next to the bed,
Oh,
and like, it was like dimly lit. It was like smelled like mold, and it because I booked it because it was like the closest possible venue to the battle, so I could like just
yeah.
practice and walk over. And yeah, it was just yeah, we're just having the worst time staying there. It's just
Okay, so in terms of the battle DJ's experience, what are you hoping? What would be cool to kind of see differently in Tokyo, or for on your way there or while there? Like, what kind of accommodations would you think would be helpful?
actually, to be honest, I booked that because I was scared that I wouldn't be able to practice. But you guys really did a great job with the practice session. That I think it was the day before.
Yeah,
Um,
Saturday, yeah, or Friday.
that was so
Right.
that was so dope. And then you had the practice rooms like out the back of the venue.
Yeah,
That was really good. Like I'd love to see that again.
yeah.
So I don't have to like. But I bought my turntables, man.
Oh, you brought him to Paris.
Yeah,
Oh,
47 kilos. Turntable in each
golly.
hand, mixer on my back.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, across the world. Because I just wasn't. It was too expensive to rent them, and I wasn't sure that I would have an ability to practice. So
yeah.
the fact that you provided that was just so great for someone like me, coming from the other side of the world and thinking that I don't have a place to practice. So I should have just trusted you on that, but I was just nervous I wouldn't get enough
Oh,
time or whatever. But yeah,
yeah.
it ended up being really good.
Yeah, that's gonna stay
Um,
around for sure. The practice room
yeah,
is important. I mean, so I'm coming from a battle DJ's perspective, and I'd much rather be practicing than drinking the night
yeah,
before.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah. I hear you.
yeah. Well, no one's drinking. Yeah, everyone's just nervous. Yeah,
Yeah. It's not that kind of like battling is. Yeah, it's nerve wracking. You want to make sure that you hit every point of it, and that's good, man. I think I think you have a bright future ahead of you for turntablism and in this generation, in this era
Thanks,
of
man.
turntablism, man. Like I'm really excited for you and what you're gonna do this year. You know, like hopefully we do see you in Tokyo. And um, do you do you have anybody that you are kind of it's not a top three question, but I guess was there anybody from last year or is there anybody this year that you are kind of excited to maybe see in Tokyo if given the chance?
Like a battler,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like,
yeah.
well, I guess you
Well,
got excited. Like you every year, you know, you always got to expect like, okay, maybe this guy's gonna be there, maybe he's gonna be there. Who do you think who's on your list? You have a hit list?
well, I'm just nervous. Like Kentaro and Brenner are going to enter. That's like
Oh shit,
that's
yeah.
terrifying the hell out of me. But I think this is a weird thing to say, but I'd be upset if Fumi didn't win this year. Like,
Oh
like I don't know.
yeah,
I love Fumi. I think he's so dope, and I you know it's in Japan. Like
yeah,
I'm even though I'm battling him, like I like or
yeah,
if I make it through, I want him to win, man. Like it'd be so sick for him to win in Japan after like what he's been through the past few years.
yeah.
Um, he's just he's so sick, and I think yeah he deserves a win. Um, but yeah, there's a few other people that are scary. That
Okay.
17-year-old from America. I haven't seen him yet.
Who's
He
this?
scares me.
Oh, RC3.
Yeah,
Yes, yes, yeah. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, okay.
Uh, and there's another guy who came second in the world's. Sorry, the wild card thing. He looks really scary. Um,
Wild card, through the online.
yeah, yeah. I'm forgetting his name right now, which is a little bit
Oh,
embarrassing. I've written
yeah,
this down.
yeah. And I
Um,
coordinated, and I don't remember who you're talking about. But he lost to
yeah,
Fumi.
okay, yeah.
He lost to
Uh,
Fumi.
yeah, he lost to Fumi, but he's
Oh,
like really, really good. Yeah.
fuck.
I hope he makes it
Hold on,
through.
let me just look. I'm gonna look because I'm curious who. Don't worry, I can always edit this
And
part. Go ahead.
two others that's. I thought Pearly was just so sick.
Pearly.
Um,
Yes, yeah, yeah. You guys didn't you guys tie for fourth or fifth place? Isn't that how it
no,
worked?
she got fourth. I got fifth.
Okay, okay.
Well deserved. Hers was so
Yeah.
dope. I remember I didn't watch that till the next day, and yeah, it was just so sick. It was also just so like I don't know hip hop and like classic
Traditional.
DMC. Yeah, I
Yeah,
really
very traditional.
yeah, and it just landed in a really dope way. And also Tommy, is it Tommy two?
Peanuts from the UK.
Peanuts. Sorry,
Yeah,
Tommy
yeah.
Peanuts. I thought he should have placed higher because his style I thought was
Oh,
amazing. Um, yeah, I thought he should, like I don't know, he was just so technical and like all over the place.
yeah.
Um, I yeah, I let him practice in my hotel room, and yeah,
Oh,
I was like a
okay.
bit shy. I was like, oh god, this guy's like he's gonna clear the floor. I was surprised he didn't do high, place higher. Mm.
You got to see Fubi set before it was performed.
Sorry, Tommy,
Or Tommy, sorry, Tommy
no,
Peanuts.
Tommy's penis. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There we go. Kevin Adam won
that's
second
him. Yeah,
from the Netherlands or Indonesia. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know
yeah,
Kevin
that's
Adam.
him. Yeah,
Okay. Well,
he's
yeah, I
scary.
like
Yeah,
Kevin. I think Indonesia is jumping in on this year. I think that's a new branch that we're going to be announcing soon.
oh sick.
Yeah, so
Okay,
yeah, we got to get more of the Asian countries involved, like the
yeah, yeah.
Philippines and your side of the world. Really, I'd love to see like Samoa
Mm.
or New Zealand or some of the Polynesian areas, but also like Vietnam or North. I'm surprised there's no South Korea.
Is Vietnam jumping up?
Is Vietnam?
Yeah.
No, not this year.
Ah, man,
Yeah,
I was in Hanoi last year, and
yeah,
they've got this scratch group, and they were really good. Like I was like,
really.
damn, you get to yeah, yeah. I was pushing them to enter the wild card. But they got a dope little community, and I was really impressed. I came by and had a cut. But
Okay,
they should have a chapter there for sure.
cool,
Yeah.
cool. Dope, man.
Mhm.
Well, it was great kind of getting to know you, Max. Like just understanding
Yeah, it's cool.
your background and where you fit in all of this and your style. Like getting an explanation of your style was pretty dope to kind of hear because I had a lot of question marks when I was just watching it because I was blown away. And year in and year out, you're always doing something different. I loved your energy in 2023 when I saw that. You were voted number one in terms of our public poll that we ran online for San Francisco. You were voted number one, and maybe that's because Australia tuned in, but it's also the entire world was voting. But Australia showed up. I really love that your minister, who was it, the political person that
Oh,
supported
yeah, our
support
prime minister. It's basically like our president. Yeah,
the actual prime minister
the
was
actual prime
supported you.
minister. Yeah, he's
Wow.
the DJ. Um,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
What's his
Like
name?
he plays commercial stuff. Like it's not he's not like a scratch DJ or anything, but like
Yeah.
he's an actual DJ, which is sick. And the recent, I'm not sure if she's in office anymore, but New Zealand's prime minister was also a DJ.
Oh,
And when they both leave office, I want to do like a like a battle between the two prime ministers. I don't know if they'd be down for it. But yeah, but
oh,
yeah.
that's cool. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, so sorry. So yeah, our prime minister reached out and sent me a letter being like, "Good luck in San Francisco," and
Yeah,
yeah, which was pretty sick.
that's cool. That's cool. He's probably what's his name?
Anthony Albanese.
Albanese. Okay, I'm gonna look that up. That's pretty cool that, there's so many people that are DJs now that are in higher places that it's kind of cool the kind of opportunities that you
Yeah,
get, like the kind of people that you get to meet. It's like, oh, I heard a podcast with Joe Rogan and heard Russell Crowe was also a DJ. Um,
really. I didn't know that.
yeah, like he did bars and shit and was a vinyl DJ playing house and stuff. And I remember hearing on a podcast that he started as a DJ in
Wow.
Australia. So it's pretty cool. But
Oh, yeah, of course he's Australian. That didn't even
yeah,
click.
yeah, yeah. If you ever run into him, you kind of bring up some DJ stuff. He was a vinyl DJ.
Yeah. Okay. I gotta look that up. I didn't know that. Wow. I
Yeah, yeah,
wonder where he played. Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. I just remember hearing on Joe Rogan's podcast, and he was kind of talking about his early life before acting was he was a DJ, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. Okay. So someone must have booked him. I like that.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah. Of
interesting.
course, of course,
Yeah.
of course. But
I wonder who that was. Oh yeah.
yeah. All
Yeah.
right, Maxwell. It was good talking to you, bro. I mean, this was a good podcast. I appreciate you being on. I'm excited for you to come out this year and see you more in the future. Is there anybody you want to shout out before we kind of sign off from here?
Oh man, there's just too many people. But
Yeah, sure.
yeah, like I've got a great community around me here. That's really supportive, and then the Australian community too. There's just so many great people holding it down.
Yeah.
Oh no, if I start listing off names, I'm going to forget
No,
someone.
it's all
But
good. Yeah, yeah. Shout out.
yeah,
I mean, tell Deepak and your wife I said hello. Like I love them. I love them, man. They were great to kind of meet and get to know. So I feel horrible for Deepak because I think the last event
yeah,
we were sitting outside and talking for almost a good hour, and he was just kind of digging my brain about the open battle. But
yeah.
yeah, man.
Is it is that that's happening again? The open battle?
It is. It is. Are you guys? Do you know if Casey's hosting it?
No, I don't think he said anything yet.
Oh,
But I think
yeah.
Deepak. Actually, I don't know.
Yeah. Don't put that out. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
can't say
I
anything.
love him,
Yeah,
man. I hope
we
to
might
see
be in
him.
Tokyo. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah. I hope to see him again, man. I'd
Yeah.
love to see him. So let me stop this recording.
Yeah.
Perfect, dude. That